If it doesn't really work well, then
It popped up on my screen, going live.
oh, it did.
Yeah,
All right. If it doesn't really work well, then
it popped up on my screen, going live.
oh, it did. All right. So it's you hear it. You hear it.
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay. So let me close this. Wait, it's recording everything we're saying right now. Anyways, all right, Big G. Hey, welcome back to Relationship Talk with Juanito. I'm Big.
Oh man, you Big
Uh,
G this week?
nah, man, I ain't Big G this week. I'm
I want to
Juanito.
go live, baby.
Hey, I'm Juanito, and I'm sitting with Big G. Big G, what's up, man?
What's going on, my man?
Hey, nothing much, nothing much. Hey, so before we get into our topics, I want to get your thoughts on something real fast.
Yeah,
So, and before we to start talking relationships, I want to get your thoughts on the Shedeur thing. Obviously, we talked a little bit about it last week,
yeah,
and he got into the Ravens game. I thought he started out not not playing well. He looked like trash.
yeah,
But I when you actually go back and watch the game film and you look at the breakdown, it was a combination of him making some mistakes and then also the line and making some mistakes, and also you got to give it up to the Ravens defense. They put the pressure on old boy.
yeah,
But I thought, when you saw that 2 minute drive, he looked like the Shador from Colorado.
yeah. Um, I didn't even think that he played. You know what I'm saying? Begin bad in the first, because that he was when anytime when an athlete and you haven't had any time to prepare, not giving them an excuse or anything, but just being thrown into something when your whole mind state is, hey, I'm not playing. Let me sit over here and I'm just going to take some mental reps and do something. And then bam, here you go. I believe he played like a backup quarterback who has never practiced with the team looked like.
Mm-hmm.
But so like you said, towards the end, it got better. As you seen his confidence grow,
Yeah.
uh, and so that's what I think. I see that there was progression. It went from started low and it rose. So when evaluating a young player like that, that's what you want to see. You want to see going
That
up,
progression.
progression instead of regression.
Yeah, and I watched the press conference after the game, and my wife is a Shedeur Sanders fan, right? She's
Yeah,
she's from Belize, and she started watching football. She started watching football for the first time watching Colorado last year.
yeah,
Well, not last year, but the 2023 season. Um, but yeah, I watched his press conference, and you could just see the excitement in his face. But then I watched his press conference that he did, I believe, yesterday when he was named the starter for this week.
yeah,
And you know, you got a chance to see that he's feeling really confident right now.
yeah,
Right. And it is not from an egocentric standpoint. It's he truly believes in himself. And you can see that his confidence in himself is authentic.
yeah.
Right. And I think going into this game, he's gonna look a lot better.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely gonna look a lot better. Um, a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, like you said, get his confidence, you know what I'm saying, mixed up. They don't understand. And when you hear people who talk about him, he need to humble himself. Humble. Well, I had a conversation with some people at work, and we can just tell that they weren't Shador fans, and and the conversation about him being humble, he's not humble. Well, I said, well, first of all, that's a lie. Uh, he's very humbling with his father. He's very, and all y'all talk about, y'all supposed to be Christians, you know what I'm saying? I went on my Christian rant with him. But yeah, he's always giving everything to God. His from all his praise, just said everything flows through him. How is that not humbling? I say, but it's kind of funny when when a person is confident in how they prepare and who they are. It's people who can't do what they do always want them to be humble. And I said I would never humble myself if I know that I've put in my work, I put all my work in to be the best that I can at something. I'm gonna let people know I'm the best. I'm going
As you should.
as you should. I'm not gonna humble myself because to me that means you want me to, you know what I'm saying, lower myself to the fact that you can't do something and try to correlate me lowering myself so it can make you feel better because don't no, I did this. I was waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, hitting them stairs. I was throwing those passes when it was dark and I dealt with car lights. That was me. So yes, I'm confident in who I am. I'm confident in my abilities. I said, stop asking people to humble themselves because you can't do something.
Yeah, and I can relate to that because being somebody who was short, undersized, in everything that I did, sports was I lacked in confidence in a lot of areas in my life, growing up. But sports,
Yeah.
that was the one area of my life you couldn't touch me because I put in the work to to position myself to be the best player on the team. And if I wasn't the best player on the team, nobody could tell me that I wasn't.
Yeah.
Be- because what they say, uh, I'm top two and number
I'm damn
two,
still not too.
and I'm damn sure not no, and I'm damn sure not two. And but that's how I felt about
Yeah.
myself, and that's how I felt about my skill set. And in my mind, it was truly how I viewed myself.
Mm-hmm.
And as when you're a kid, it's not off-putting because parents and onlookers, they kind of see it as a child being a child. But when you start to grow into a man and you start to excel in certain areas and you're confident about those areas, then people see it as arrogance, or people will be afraid of it.
Yes.
Like, and so that kind of ties into the subject that I wanted to talk about today is I know that if you ask a woman what she wants in a man, they give you a list of things that sounds good,
Mm-hmm.
but
Talking point.
but when it's right there in front of them, 9 out of 10 times, if they haven't worked on themselves or position themselves as their best self, to they're likely going to run away from it.
Yeah.
You know, in my marriage, when me and my wife first met, our first date, well, after our first date, a little bit after our first after we had kind of been together for a while, she told me that she almost didn't want to see me again. And it was nothing that I said or nothing that I did that, you know, made her not want to see me again. It was that when she saw me, she saw stability, she saw maturity, she saw that I had my life together, and she almost made that she knew that had she pursued a relationship with me, she was going to have to upgrade herself. She was going to have to step her game up. She was going to have to become a better person than who she was at that point in time. And it wasn't that I was asking her to, but these are all self assessments that she was making on the fly in that moment. Now, granted, she made a good choice. She made a good choice because we've been married for almost 6 years. Well, our 6 year anniversary is next month. We have we
Congratulations, my
have a
friend.
we have a beautiful 5 year old terrorist. He is a out of control 5 year old. He be making me want to drop kick him. But I say that because I saw this video and we're gonna watch it, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Oh, well, actually, it's two videos, but it isn't the antithesis of what I was just talking about. All right,
Right on, right on.
let me share my screen. You can see my screen.
I can see it, baby. My favorite show.
Hello, welcome in. What's your name?
My name is Lorenzo.
Lorenzo, how old are you?
I'm 28.
And what do you do?
I work as a surgical technologist. I assist my partners in our OR team during surgical procedures.
Okay,
And
very
I'm
nice.
also in school for biology, my bachelor's in biology. I model and act on the side.
Okay. And now, what are some things you like to do for fun?
Well, I do have a Harley. I don't ride it frequently, so whenever I can, I just hop on it, get on the ride.
Okay.
I know this may sound cliche, but I do like to read. Three of my favorite books is The Sixth Man by David Badauchi, The True Jesus Christ Unknown to Christianity by David C. Pack, and Gifted Hands by Ben Carson.
Okay.
I like to cook. I like to cook for others more so than for myself, especially my lady. I'm big on chess, critical thinker, so that go hand in hand. What else? I do like to travel. You know, I like to capture images of vast scenery and landscapes. I do work out, but I wouldn't consider that as fun because it's just more so of a priority for me.
Right.
And
Okay.
yeah, I like to go to the range as well whenever I can.
Okay. Now, what do you look for in a woman?
First and foremost, a woman that has a good relationship with God and Jesus Christ, someone who has a purpose in their life, good hygiene. When I say good hygiene,
Hold on, I gotta pause it real fast. Hey, what?
I already know. It's
Why
a
she
damn
popped
thing. You
the
gotta ask
balloon when
that
he
question.
said good hygiene?
And from my standpoint, I'm telling you now. You got to ask that question now, Juan. You have to ask that question.
It's just funny that I know it probably wasn't the timing, that she didn't mean to pop it on that, but the timing of it was
Yeah,
it tickled me when I saw this. All right, I'm gonna
yeah.
finish it up.
that's pretty much it.
Okay. And now, what are some deal breakers?
Infidelity. Infidelity is big for me. A manipulator, someone who's combative as well, argumentative, alcohol abuse, I want to say. A smoker, I don't mind marijuana, but cigarettes.
Yep.
I also don't mind children as well, but if you have like more than two baby daddies, that's a deal breaker for me.
Okay.
But I may be able to compromise with two, but
Okay.
more than two. Also, a woman that already have children, but you don't want anymore, because I want kids, so that'd be a
Right.
deal breaker.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. So we did get some pop balloons. Let's go on over there, see why they ended up popping. Hello.
Boy,
So let me pull up the other video. Hold on, why is this thing doing this? There we go. This thing be irritating me.
acknowledge it, baby. And they want AI to do everything.
All right.
I think left to women's devices, they would want a man that's better. But I think what we're seeing now in our community, some women actually go after lesser value men because they're easier to control, right?
Ooh,
And a lesser value man doesn't necessarily and I've heard this from women. A lesser value man doesn't necessarily make you feel as
Secure.
insecure as a high value man, right? Like I've had one lady that I interviewed. She said that with a really good man, I feel like I got to get my stuff together tomorrow. Versus with Pookie and Ray Ray on the street, I'm the best thing that's ever happened to him. So in our community, you kind of find women who look for men that they can put in a more like submissive position, like a son. An ex-con, he needs somewhere to stay. He needs to drive your car. But an independent man who has a voice and you might have to follow his leadership. Not only are you not used to that type of dynamic because you've never had to follow a man's leadership, sometimes it's scary, man. I think left to women.
all right. Share your
Man.
thoughts on those two videos.
Well, it's they're speaking the truth. When you see, you ask for something, and then when you see what you're asking for, you come to reality that, well, wait a minute, I'm not really ready to receive what I'm asking for, so you get scared. Now, they understand. A lot of women understand. Yes, I want a man. I want a man. I want a man to pay the bills. I want a man who's going to be a provider. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Well, when they get in the presence of man and that man is confident, then they realize, well, this man has standards. This man, hey, if I'm gonna pay all the bills and well, this is what's going to have to be done. Well, see, in their mind, they want to have the man to do all the stuff and be everything, but they still want to go out with their ratchet ass friends. They still want to gallivant out there in the world. Well, a man who has his stuff together, but see, he's not in that world. He's in his own world where he is the king of that world, and he's run on discipline. He has standards, and they know to themselves that they don't live up to that standard. And so, like the one gentleman says, they go and find these Pookies and Ray Rays. I know that for a fact. My ex, it was comical, you know what I'm saying? When I was playing stay home daddy, and basically we was dependent on her income to live, because I didn't want, you know what I'm saying, my child to be raised by other people in his family. But with her job being military, she couldn't say, hey, I'm gonna stay at home now. So she had to continue to be continue with her commitment. Well, as long as I was stay at home daddy and didn't do nothing, there was no problem. Well, daughter got a little bit older. All right, I went back to work, and for me going back to work and doing what I do, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I became a higher earner than her. And at no point in time was I ever questioned or said, hey, I make more money than you, so that means I make the rules. But it was the simple fact that she felt that she lost control. Hey, when he going to work now, I know he's not at home. I know he's not at home taking me. What is he doing? Little things started happening, going through my computer and, you know what I'm saying, following me and all this other little stuff. And it was just like, what? So our little situation broke up. And exactly what happened, she ran back to a convicted felon, a Pookie, and that's who she married.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So when I think about the first video, right? Obviously there was first off, if we take a look at the guy is not a unattractive guy. Pause. He shows up, he's well dressed, he looks like he's got his stuff together. There are a few women who pop their balloons immediately. Okay, maybe there's not a physical attraction there.
Mhm.
Okay. I would argue that to pop your balloon before the guy speaks when he's not an ugly guy is a bit premature.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they allow you to, like, in certain instances, to get your balloon back or whatever. But you pop it prematurely, and then he starts talking. And as guys, we immediately recognize, like, what he's saying. He's got protection down. He's got provision down. He's got all of these things set up. Because you heard him talk about his job. He's got a good job. He's well educated. He said he does go to the range. He said, the gym ain't really his thing, but he does do it. But he also goes to the range. So he showed provision and protection. You can see that by his temperament that he's well mannered, and that he, without actually getting to know him, the energy that he gives off is that he would be a good partner.
Yeah.
Like if he was one of my friends, just off of that, I would probably introduce him to some females that I thought would be a good fit for him. It wouldn't be any other of I don't have really friends like that.
Yeah.
You know what, and you know where I'm going down that road.
Yeah.
And
Dr. Warren can't say it, ladies and gentlemen. He don't have no ratchet ass friends. I have ratchet ass friends.
I don't, and that's just never been my circle of friends, anyways. But once he starts talking,
yeah,
like I don't understand why. I saw that there was one lady who still had her balloon, but I didn't understand why. I understood why the women that they started popping their balloons. And that's why I played the second video, because the second video kind of speaks to what my thought process was on why they started popping their balloons. Now, granted, I haven't went back and watched the full video, so I don't know necessarily the reasons why, but I thought about it when I was watching it, and then I thought about my story and how my wife almost didn't give me a second date, but it was because of when I showed up, I was super confident. I showed up, I worked at the embassy at the time, and so I had some slacks on, a button-up shirt with the vest on, with the nice tie to match. Your boy was dressed. I was one of the best dressed in the embassy. I toot my horn a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, I showed up dressed, and I've always been a relationship guy, so that's my energy anyways. But I got a good job, got a nice place, car, boom, boom, boom. My stuff is together. And so had she decided not to, her life would essentially be completely different than how it is now. Not to say that it would be good or bad, because we don't know, but it would be different. And so what this made me think about is that are women, no, let me rephrase that. Is there a certain segment of women that are afraid of men that have confidence, or that are stable, or that they have their life together?
Yes, they are, because you said in the beginning, you have to level up. You will have to, because they know a man like that. If he see their flaws, he's going to dump them, and a woman don't like to get dumped. You try to break up with a woman, oh no, they want their power to where they leave you. A woman wants to be the one in charge of leading. You try to break up with them, it's a whole scene. And I know you've probably seen a million. There's a million videos on YouTube or little shorts and everything where guys be trying to leave women. They throwing bricks at cars. They doing everything. Hey, I just want to leave.
Dude, I have my own experience with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they don't want to get broken up with, and so when they see that and they know that that stuff is not lined up or in the process. Now, some women they understand it, and if they feel that connection, they'll quickly tell a man, "Hey, I'm a work in progress, but if you work with me, I promise I'm going to be the best." They'll say that. But those ones who's spitting that six, that triple six, and this is what a man got to do, and do this, when they see that man and they know and they hear he outlines everything what he has and what he's got and what he won't put up and what he will put up with, that right there lets them know, bam. And to give you inquiry until the rest of the video, why they pop this balloon, physical attraction, the outfit. I just didn't think when a woman don't have, I put it like this here. When a woman know that she don't have a leg to stand on in a conversation, she goes to her favorite thing is to go to how a man looks. When you and we've all seen it and happening. When you talking to a woman, you tell a woman, "Hey, well, I'm not really digging you." The first thing she'll be, "Yo head, yo this, yo this, yo that." She goes to physical appearance because she feels like that's where she has the upper hand. Because you're coming to talk to me, or you're wanting to talk to me, and you're not going to go talk to an ugly girl. So there must be something why you hear in my face. And so when a woman has no leg to stand on, the first thing she's going to go to physical appearance. And that's what happened in that video.
I mean, I could see that. I could see that because you can't attack anything else,
No,
and that's an easy go to, right?
yeah,
Even though you may not even necessarily feel that way or think that way, it's just
yeah.
it's an easy out.
It's an
Um,
easy.
but it got me to thinking, right? The way that kind of shifting the focus away from the women, but more focus on the guys is that guys have to, and this was my takeaway, guys have to focus on becoming their best selves. They have, because in that drive to become your best self, you gain confidence,
Mm-hmm.
and it's real confidence. It's not that fake, you know. I'll use myself as an example. Like when I was the least confident, I overcompensated by trying to fit in with different fashions and spending a whole bunch of money on clothes that, number one, did not fit necessarily because or um it was me trying to keep up with the latest fashions
Yeah.
even when I was broke. And so I overcompensated in different areas because I wanted to be liked by women, but I did not have the confidence in myself to stand on my merit and who I was alone.
Yeah.
And that what ended up happening was I ended up getting into a whole bunch of relationships that were never going to work from the beginning
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have myself together. And my energy that I was putting out, that desperation energy, that simp energy, that whatever, it attracted women who wanted to use me for my money. It attracted women that were equally as desperate as I was. It attracted unattractive women. It attracted, you know, women that needed fixing, for lack of better terms. And so once I started working on myself, I started going to therapy, working on my mental issues. Not that I have mental issues, but the issues, you know, that I
Your
was dealing
mental
with
strength.
mentally. I started working out. I started getting my money right. I started getting real confidence in myself. And when I when I got divorced and I started dating again, I could be confident in who I was and stand on my merit alone. And whether you was either with it or you weren't. And as time went on, I even got more confident and end up in a situation where my confidence was so high that a good woman had to question whether or not she was good enough to be in a relationship with me or
Yeah.
to pursue a relationship with me. And so how do we, and I want to get your thoughts on this. I have some thoughts of my own, but I want to get your thoughts on how do we convey to men that want good relationships with women, because there are men who are out there who either secretly or outwardly want good relationships. How do we convey to them and educate them that you have to upgrade your confidence level to the point to where women that are no good for you will be afraid of trying to or wanting of wanting to pursue you?
Well, I'm thinking that, you know what I'm saying, we're starting to see the shift towards that. Men are starting to understand, you know what I'm saying, with confidence, this talk that these women are putting out here into the world are showing men that a lot of women are delusional. Uh, and so men are starting to realize that, hey, you know, listening to the Godfather Kevin Samuels, I know a lot of people like to discredit him because of, you know what I'm saying, what he was doing, but when he first came to the internet, he was all about telling men to get their S together, to get their together. So uh, that's what he spoke into existence. He was like, hey, you might have to reset yourself, and during a reset you might go through a drought period to where you don't see it, and it looks hard, but when you come out and you're stronger, you're strong physically because you got your body right, you're strong mentally, you're strong financially because your funds are right. That puts you into a bracket of dealing with women to where you don't have to put up with the shortcomings of a woman. You know what I'm saying? Because now you know your value. As men, as we get older and wiser, our value shoots up. You know what I'm saying? Our value shoots up. So the men are starting to see now, hey, in the dating marketplace, having your stuff together, you know what I'm saying? Having your body together, or not having it obese, and being financially, you know what I'm saying, in a situation to where you can take care of yourself, and, you know what I'm saying, in the capability of putting together and offering financial resources to a family, you are in the upper hand. So you go from being the hunter to the hunted. And so now you're having yourself the pick of your litter. Now the question is, like we talked last week, it's about picking and choosing. You know what I'm saying? At that point, you know what I'm saying, we got our stuff together. We can't revert back to just, she's beauty. Now if you're uber wealthy and your finances are in the multiples of tens, Well, you could probably don't have to worry about that. You would say, okay, you can waste time with the wrong ones because you just cut them off and start anew. But if you're a man and of meager means and stuff like that, but you're able to provide for a family, you have to choose, and that's when it comes into now for the men. What exactly do you want, or are you staying true to the standards that you say that you want from a woman? Because the the standards that you want from a woman might not come in the picture that you want.
I mean, that's a really good point that I think needs to be expanded upon as far as when it comes to dealing with men is that, you know, women have their desires for the men that they want, but the actual things that are of substance may not be in those top three things that they're looking for, the 666, and
Mhm.
obviously this is not every woman who's looking for these type of things. And it's probably more in the younger generation,
Yeah.
the women that are in their 20s and 30s that are, so focused on those type of things. I think once you start to get in the 40s, you start to mature and you start to realize that yeah, life is kind of different. Your perspective changes.
Hmm.
Not all of them, obviously, but I think for some, their perspective does change. But to go back to what I was saying, I think men also have to understand that you know the women that's going to treat you right, who's going to be your support, who's going to be your helpmate, who's going to fill that role, who's going to be the rib, you know, in a biblical sense, who's going to be your Eve to your Adam, right? Um, she may not be the most attractive woman. She may not have the best figure. She may not, you know, be the most educated or whatever her flaws are. Um, if you are, if you are, if you're on your square and you are standing firm in the foundation that you've built, you could always upgrade her level, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but understanding these things, you have to first get your stuff together.
Yeah.
Cause you're not gonna attract any woman if you ain't confident, if you ain't financially savvy, if you ain't um got your stuff together mentally, you're going to attract the opposite
Yeah.
of those things. And
Yeah.
it's just going to be this repetitive cycle of bad women with bad men, or good
Yes.
women with bad men, or bad men with good woman, or good men with bad woman. And it's going to lead down the path to where, things like single family households, right? That shit is going to continue to happen. It's going to continue to lead to the degradation of society and the degradation of the nuclear family, which also
Yes.
leads to the degradation of society.
Yes.
It's going to continue to produce these badass kids,
Look, Ding. Yeah.
that is leading to, you know, teachers. Do you hear about the 1,000 teachers that quit their job?
Oh yeah.
A lot of it had to do with the kids, right? And
Yes.
and without knowing the actual statistics, just going off of what I would probably best believe or my best guess, it would probably be that a lot of these kids aren't growing up in homes where there is a father around, or a prominent male role model, or prominent male figure in their life that providing some structure and some discipline.
Yes.
And so, I joked earlier, talking about my son, talking about how he's a little terror, right? But the reality of it is that he's a child. He does childish things. He's only 5. He's super hyper and super active, but he has some form of discipline.
Yes.
And so, you know, I kind of want to. Have you seen the video about the incident that happened in Chicago with the pregnant mother that was attacked by a group of children?
Man, that Warren, when I say it hurt me trifold because of the incident and and then the aftermath. I was kind of upset again. Um, we seen a woman who, all purposes, they say that she had a medical condition, but she was going to pick up her kids, doing what, you know what I'm saying, we say we want parents to do, be there for their kids. She's going to pick the kids up, walk her kids home, be there with her kids at home. And as she's walking to pick up her kids, we have a group of other little kids that felt they needed to voice their opinion on this woman's appearance. Now, instead of, you know, I was a kid, you know what I'm saying, and I understand. I used to crack jokes on people too, you know what I'm saying. But I say my little joke, I move on. Well, these kids became very unruly. They became very rude. And then they became physical after the woman was just like, hey, leave me alone. Now, you could tell these kids were emotionally undeveloped, because how can someone saying, please leave me alone and let me go home with my babies, trigger something in you mentally to where you want to get physical with the person?
Yeah, so as I was watching it, I became upset, and I really, like, a part of me was like, I really wish I was there because I would whoop them kids' ass. I ain't that big, but I would have. They would have had to take me to jail because it's just it. When we were children,
Mm-hmm.
we would have never
Never.
put our hands on an adult. And I commend the woman for trying to protect her son. But it goes back to why fathers are so important.
Yes. Yes.
Good, solid men are important
Very, very important.
because this is an example of a lost generation due
Yes.
to fatherless household. And let's just say there are some fathers that are in the household who are not. I don't want to say they're not real men because I
They're not
absolutely
leads.
hate that term. But they're not leading.
Yes.
They're operating more from a feminine standpoint than they are from a masculine standpoint. They are not doing what needs to be done to to better our society. And I'm gonna be honest, although those kids may be from single parent households, it is the men responsibility. It is their fault that those kids are that way. And I firmly believe that, and nobody could convince me otherwise because I am a father. I'm a father of an 18-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 5-year-old. And none of my kids behave like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and
Um, um,
and and my son, my youngest son, is he's aggressive, right? He's autistic and he's aggressive and he doesn't do well in social environments, but he's in school. And so, you know, it's always a concern of mine. And so I'm very hard on him when it comes to his aggression levels because it's not just with kids, he's aggressive, period.
Yeah.
Right. And I think part of it is that he wants to play, but he doesn't necessarily understand his strength.
Yeah. No, he
Um,
don't get those cues.
yeah,
Yeah.
he don't pick up the cues or that he don't understand that, hey, you know, I'm 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 being too rough.
Yeah.
But he's not doing it with malice, right?
Yeah.
But like when I saw that, I'm like, how, as you said, how underdeveloped mentally do you have to be to behave like that at that age?
At that age.
Like at that age when you're 10, 11, 12 years old. Yeah, I'm baffled.
Well, see, this is what this was one of I did my Wednesday isms today because I was working yesterday, and I spoke on it and I said that these kids, because kids are copycats, these kids have seen that before. And the stark contrast was it was a female child who kicked it off. And so we all understand about, we've all heard about the Chicago narrative and everything, and I get it. So you know I know they've seen this level of violence before. They've seen somebody walk outside and 4 or 5 guys stomping on somebody. They've seen mama get slapped upside the head. So they done probably seen that. But this is what I'm saying. As men, you have to be one in your child's life, preferably be in your family's life, because nothing works better than a family. Now, not to say that nothing like this couldn't happen if you had two parents in the thing, but the outcome, the accountability, where they had a strong leaderful father in that home. And and what also got me mad was the fact that we did have some men stand up and voice their displeasure, but for not having love for their family or outside their family and into their community where we need the men more, they took their aggression and their frustration and they channeled it in the wrong direction. Now, I know why, and I'm saying, on a lot of my videos, I've talked about this, is because of fear. They're afraid because they see what these kids has done. So most likely they come from an environment where this is the norm, and I don't want to deal with that. So I'm going to take myself up here and yell at other probably single parent teachers, women, or men or something who has nothing to do with, didn't see what was going on because these kids was walking home. But you go up there and you want answers from a school. The school had nothing to do with this. This was off campus. School, the teachers and administration didn't have jurisdiction around the corner where this took place from the school. So why would we as men jump up and say, hey, I'm going to the school? If I understand it, you probably got you probably have a right to be scared, because once again we understand about that Chicago narrative. But our community of men, one by one, we stop at these parents' houses. If we show up there 30 and 40 deep of all men and say, hey, knock on the door. Miss Johnson, little TT was out there jumping on a woman. We we want to let you know that we don't partake this in our hood. A woman who's walking her son home from school, and she's has a medical condition, she should feel safe in our community. She should. This nothing but be happening. But the fact that they ran up there and they yelled at people who had nothing to do, that also made me mad. And it was men. It was men. It was men leading this. And that's what I was saying this morning. Men, you are needed, not not only wanted, but you are needed in your homes and in your communities. And to the fact that, and I'm sorry, ladies, and this is not going to come off as trying to get, but a woman cannot raise a man. She can raise little boys, and that's why a lot of them don't grow past with the stereotypical movie baby boy. They don't grow past that stage. But women, you can't raise a man. You might get lucky enough to have a young boy, your kid who grows up and he don't give you no problem, but he's most likely lacking something in the man development, where he needs his uncles and other men in the community to grasp around him. But you can't raise a man. And it's better if you have a daughter that a man is there too, because a man is there too because he can set the precedent of how a man is one supposed to treat her, how a man is supposed to love her, how a man is supposed to take care of her. And also gives that discipline and that structure for a young lady. And this hit me so hard today. I spent about 15 minutes on it. I try to knock my videos out in 10, so I have to get into work. But this one hit me so hard, Warren, man. I was truly frustrated because I've never seen nothing like this growing up. I never seen kids, and these kids couldn't have been no more than probably about the 5th or 6th grade. They beat on this woman like she wasn't an adult.
Yeah, no, I've seen it kids on kids, but
Yeah.
never kids on adults. And it just kind of goes back to, if you want to fix a problem, you got to start at the root, right? Men have to get themselves together.
Yeah.
Just as simple as that. Men have to get themselves together, build themselves up, both physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, get themselves together so that they can make good choices in partners. And they can weed, because if she ain't got a lick of good in her, or she's lacking in an area that's not going to be that's going to provide stability to you and your relationship, she's going to weed herself out. Now some may seep through the cracks, but you'll be advanced enough in your mental thought process that you'll be able to identify that this person is not good for me, so I'm going to remove myself or remove her from my life. Make better choices, and therefore you won't get into these relationships or these situationships, have children out of wedlock, or have children with women that are going to make your life hell. You wind up getting divorced, uh, or getting left, and with each family that puts themselves together, situations like this, the chances of situations like this happening decreases. And so I think that men got to do better. I know it's easy to put the blame on women, but the reality of it is that we as men have to do better. We have to do better in our own individual lives, our own individual selves. We got to do better in our partner's life. We have to do better in our family lives. We have to do better in our parents' life
Mm-hmm.
so that situations like that don't continue to happen. Because
Don't.
it's uncalled for. It's not necessary. They're 10, 11, 12-year-old kids acting like complete assholes.
Mm-hmm.
And
One,
it's just unnecessary, man.
and I'm leaving with this, and so we can end it with this here. I was talking to this older gentleman, named Mr. Clarence, and Mr. Clarence told me probably about 10 or 12 years ago. Mr. Clarence say, "Why do you think there are men in jail?" My quick response was, "They did something stupid. You know what I'm saying? They went out there and robbed and killed somebody. They sold drugs. They whatever." He said, "Yeah, you know what I'm saying, that could be a part of it." He say, "But men are in jail because of how they feel." He say, "Now, most of those men that are in jail about how they feel, how they feel, was probably raised by a single mother. So they didn't develop that stoicism that a man has, to where he has to think about something and think about the consequences, the action and the reaction, to keep himself out of something." And so I'm like, "Mr. Clarence, what you mean by they feel?" He say, "Just think about it." He used Mr. Clarence was the man who used the N word a lot, but I'm not going to use it like Mr. Clarence. He say that in jail because another stepped on his shoes. He felt disrespected. He's in jail because he felt like his woman was cheating on him. He's in jail because he feels like nobody's there to cover up before his past mistakes. You get the picture? I say a little bit. He say yes. He say men are in jail because of how they feel. A man who don't take his feelings to make his logical thoughts think about things. Hey, brother, man, you stepped on my shoe. It's all right, brother. That's cool. What he thought about that point in time, I can probably whoop this man's ass, but I got too much to lose. So I'm not gonna even stress out about him stepping on my shoes. He said that's the difference between a free man and a man who is in jail. A free man thought, a man in jail, he felt.
It's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Well, Big G, where can the people find you?
Find me on Wise and Smart. Last week about love. My birthday this Saturday, baby. So you know, what I'm saying, I'm starting to get a lot of shouts out for my birthday, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Wise and Smart 22 on Instagram. That's the only place I'm at right now. The only place I'm gonna be for a while. I'm back working now, so and probably after Christmas, y'all gonna probably see me in a different setup, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back making moolah, baby.
Yeah, so that's Wise and Smart 22 on Instagram.
Mhm.
You guys go out, check Big G out on Instagram, and jump in on his Wednesday isms. Uh Make sure that you drop him a DM, let him know where you found him so that he can add you to his team. And make sure you guys jump in the comments and let him know that what you thought about his isms. All right, if anybody wants to find me, you can find me at the Personal Alignment Lab on Instagram. That's the Personal Alignment Lab on Instagram. And you could also reach out to me on my website. That is www.personalalignmentlab.com. And if you haven't had a chance to check out my book is available on my book is available on Amazon. You can find the link on Instagram. It is Aligned Love, the modern guide to finding and building fulfilling relationship. This is a tool slash guide for the single folks who are dating, folks who are coming out of a relationship, thinking about or looking to get back into another relationship. This is just a tool with some guides and some exercises in it that will prepare you for finding another relationship or another partner. To everything from building up your self-awareness to dating strategies, dating positioning, the difference between independence, codependence, and interdependence. So yeah, again, if you haven't had a chance, the link is going to be in the description. And with that being said, Big G, we signing off. Y'all have a
Signing
good
out.
night.